Now, just hear me out.
I mean, you could make the argument that anything somebody creates is art. The Walmart logo is art. But what I really mean when I say, are these videos art, is do these videos have value and meaning beyond just making people laugh? I would argue that they do. iDubbbz, Filthy Frank, and Maxmoefoe are all popular, sure, but their subscribers pale in comparison to channels like Lele Pons, Smosh, or Liza Koshy. Despite that, nearly everyone who's ever gone on social media has probably seen them somewhere before.
Hey, that's pretty good.
It's time to stop!
I'm gay.
Now, it's true that nearly anything can become a meme, but their specific brand of humor and the memes that come from them are clearly tapping into a very specific, disenfranchised, lonely, and depressed segment of the population. And despite having a fraction of the audience of YouTube's royalty, these three have managed to be influences to far more established and older channels such as Jack's Films and even PewDiePie, the unsurpassed king of the website. So clearly there's more to these guys than just a bunch of dirty jokes and dangerous stunts. For the purposes of this essay, we're going to be reading these videos within the context of YouTube and not within the context of cinema, television, or other visual media as a whole. If we think of YouTube as its own industry, which at this point it is, let's think of it as Hollywood. I think modern YouTube is more than comparable to modern Hollywood. YouTube is currently very corporate, with loads of popular, harmless, sanitized, unchallenging, and easy-to-digest content. But it wasn't always that way. YouTube began in 2005, far from the first video streaming website, but YouTube stood out because anybody could upload a video about anything they wanted, so long as it met the guidelines. The uploader also did not have to pay for bandwidth out of their own pocket. I was in grade 6 at the time, and by early 2006, every kid at school was talking about it. Mainly it was a place to watch videos of people getting hurt, weird Japanese commercials, and episodes of Family Guy split up into 5 parts. At the time, YouTube's biggest stars were famous from weird one-off videos such as Chocolate Rain or Leave Britney Alone. But eventually, people, mainly kids, like actual children, figured out that if you upload similar content to one channel, people will keep coming back. The reason Fred was the first channel to reach 100,000 subscribers is because he was one of the first channels with any reason to subscribe. Most channels in 2005 and even well into 2006 did not have more than a couple videos. 2006 and 2007, YouTube really became established as a source for visual entertainment. There were only a handful of what would be considered famous YouTubers, dealing mainly in sketch comedy, though there were other popular genres. These guys were the pioneers of YouTube. Channels like Smosh, Shane Dawson TV, and Fred may not have aged well, but they offered something that people couldn't get anywhere else. They were ridiculous, over-the-top, low-budget, and inappropriate for their young audiences. However, things did not stay that way. As YouTube became more popular, its user base shifted over time. If we were to think of YouTube as a high school, back in the day the popular creators would have been what we considered the losers. The underdogs, socially awkward loners, wannabe filmmakers, or comedians. Making YouTube videos was considered a weird thing to do. Now, the popular creators are the rich kids, the beautiful people. Vlogging is cool, and most kids don't want weird, poorly acted sketches. They want to live vicariously through a wealthy and attractive celebrity. That's always been true. In 2010, teenagers wanted to be Selena Gomez, and now they want to be Liza Koshy. As the site becomes more popular with ordinary people, like Hollywood, it begins to cater to those ordinary people. And when anything becomes mainstream, eventually you're going to get a counterculture.
You smell that, boys?
While watching the collective videos of iDubbbz, Filthy Frank, and Maxmoefoe, what they immediately reminded me of was New Wave, specifically Japanese New Wave and French New Wave. These were separate film movements that were direct responses to mainstream cinema. They rejected the conventions of classical cinema. They featured taboo subject matters such as sexual violence, youth culture, and delinquency. The trio, similarly, utilized these themes in their videos, along with depression, self-loathing, misanthropy, and many others. Their sketches differ from traditional YouTube sketches. Rather than having everything scripted and storyboarded down to the letter, just like French New Wave, they rely on handheld cameras, improvisation, and the natural sounds and goings-ons of the environment. YouTube sketches pretty much live and die on their scripts. The phony scripted nature is part of the style of channels like Lele Pons and Smosh.
My backstabbing brother tried to warn you of my insidious plan, but before he revealed it, you killed him and ate the broccoli anyway.
Their sketches, at least the ones with all three of them, don't seem to have scripts at all, with the improvised nature coming off much more naturally.
You got a better idea than Scissorhands?
Yeah. I don't know. There's,
Edward Chicken Hands.
Yeah? You think chicken hands is a good idea?
Yeah, because he can eat chicken wherever he goes.
Whenever he goes where?
Where the fuck's he going?
Whenever he goes to the chicken store.
If he's got chicken on his hands, why is he going to the chicken store?
Because he wants more chicken.
How is this chicken prepared?
On a rotisserie, nigga.
Yeah? I was thinking raw would be pretty good.
Okay.
No doubt, the most well-remembered director to come out of French New Wave was Jean-Luc Godard. Jean-Luc Godard's style of filmmaking was heavily anti-studio, much like the trio's rejection of mainstream YouTube. Godard allowed scenes to be built around any location he deemed interesting. He was very willing to change or come up with things on the fly. In the same way Godard liked to blur the line between documentary and film, these videos blur the line between sketch and vlog. For example, let's look at the video Hair Cake. Obviously filled with genuine reactions and breaks of character. The video is not a straight-up vlog of the three guys making a cake out of hair, and not just because Joji is playing Filthy Frank. The video has a fictional story it needs to move along, not the most complicated story, simply that Ian's hair is delicious and they forcibly shave his head as ingredients to the cake. This part of the video is fictitious. Yes, they did shave his head, but they obviously don't actually love the taste of his hair, and they did not shave him against his will. This part is woven into the rest of the video, and there are actually a lot of people who think Ian's head was shaved forcibly. The video itself even contradicts its own premise at points. They use the hair because they like the taste, but their own real reactions to trying to eat the finished product are naturally disgust. But these three are not simply a new wave movement on YouTube only because they bear striking similarities to new wave movements of the past. These videos aren't a response to Japanese or French cinema of the 40s and 50s, they were a response to YouTube. These three creators are innovators with many of their own signatures and video making styles.
I'm really losing a lot of blood.
Yeah, I'm good.
Seriously. I'm good.
Hey, dude, fine, fuck.
What?
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Now that your skin looks soft and radiant, let's begin.
That was only the pussy round.
Mazel tov, boys! This is too much shot.
Take this, you big mounchie! Go in the water, go.
We've got the red spots which are fire.
Right this way, milady.
Spray paint your teeth white! Yeah!
What a day. What a lovely day.
You may choose to go for an extra few touch-ups to complement the look. And you're done.
Okay guys,
There's a major warning on the back of this.
Reagan and Bush. These are the words that grant me the Kush.
Fuck. Out of this.
Yo, dude.
Tea. A true Australian. Tea. Dude, I literally gave a mouse CPR. I love animals.
Are you ready, kids?
Hey, that's pretty good. If you call me Pizza Face in the comments, I'm gonna be freaking angry. It's a good gag, but that's not a fucking receding hairline, dude. Let me show you what a receding hairline looks like.
It's a nice brunch here.
A little bit of a, I'd say a rosé.
This is looking amazing.
Well, now you can put both cigarettes in your nose.
There are no hard and fast rules as to what different imagery means in film. Any image or visual motif can have any meaning to any director or audience member, and furthermore, many of these images may have different meanings in their different contexts in various videos. But it's no coincidence we see the same imagery being used over and over again. Now, some of you might be saying, oh, but like, blood, that just happened organically. They didn't make themselves bleed for the video. It just happened. And that's true, but also keep in mind that they chose to put that image of blood on screen. They edited it in, and they did it for a reason. You'll notice something about all of these themes, and that is that they are dirty, often disgusting visuals. This is very different than what you would see in a typical YouTube video. Joey Graceffa is never going to show you himself throwing up. In fact, in a lot of videos, when someone does throw up, the vlogger will blur it out. This is because most YouTubers do not want to make their audiences uncomfortable in any way. iDubbbz, Filthy Frank, and Maxmoefoe, on the other hand, intentionally use visuals like this, not just to set them apart, but to make their videos seem a little off-kilter, to make people squirm and feel discomfort. And it makes them seem less like a prepackaged YouTube video and more like life. This is something known as realism. Realism does not refer necessarily to the believability of the characters or the story or the actions shown on screen. Rather, realism is the way in which the camera is utilized in recreating reality. In this instance, as an aesthetic approach. Let's use smoking as an example. Most young people don't smoke cigarettes, but plenty of YouTubers smoke pot. And if we were to go back a generation to when smoking was actually in vogue, we'll see that cigarettes in film and weed on YouTube serve many of the same purposes. They're used to make characters seem glamorous or cool, or to seem more relatable and down to earth. The trio, on the other hand, usually use absurdly large amounts of cigarettes, or they actually eat cigarettes. They're using cigarettes to convey this sort of grunge realism. It's unsettling, and it helps to paint this canvas of scumminess and sobriety. Similarly is their use of what I've dubbed intentional ugliness. Most YouTubers go out of their way to look attractive. Max, Joji, and Ian are themselves fairly attractive guys, but they have no problem altering their appearance for the sake of a joke or a video. They don't care about looking like models as opposed to Lele Pons or Rudy Manchuso, who rely on the fact that they look like models. If they're having an acne spell, they'll go out of their way to show it to you. It isn't just that they don't rely on their looks, or that they're ugly people. They often actively fight against their own good looks.
Back in World War II, I'd tell the Japs to fuck off, and if they came onto my turf, I would scalp the fuck out of those coin slot-eyed Jap.
Fucking slant-eyed coin slot cunt. I fucking hate you.
I'm sorry you feel like this, I love you.
You know what? Your parents must have been really sad about the one-child policy, you gook.
I think that's China.
What's the difference, faggot?
Stop crying, you fat cunt.
Our kids are gonna have a lot of fucking diseases, probably.
Oh yeah.
Chinese eyes, not looking forward to that one. Hopefully we can...
Yeah, well, not looking forward to your fucking buck teeth either. I hate myself and I have severe depression and I want to kill myself.
Oh, Mario, look at that. It is a question, Bloach. Look at it!
I have a question for God. Why? I'm gonna kill myself after this.
A health warning.
Yeah, I'm not joking. I'm gonna throw myself off a building.
Just do it, you fucking pussy!
I literally want to die. I think about pulling this trigger 3 times a day.
I want to die.
I want to die. I have crippling depression.
The inevitable decay of all pain and memory is unstoppable. In fact, you could stop the pain at this very moment by putting the bullet straight through your head. Being a robot, I will never die, and I will never be able to experience the sweet release of death.
So much to drink.
Get the fuck off, dude! He's got retard strength! He has retards! Get him off!
This is Ray Pop. Oh, no, please stop. I am suffering. Scream. I will scream. I will scream.
Yes. That did not sound enthusiastic. It has to be enthusiastic. Hell yeah. Nothing like a good pot of tea.
Indeed.
These are comedy videos, so obviously these themes are used in a humorous way. It's satirical. For example, depression and suicide is a major theme with these guys. These are all guys in their 20s, and not only does life generally suck when you're in your 20s anyways, but the depression rates among millennials are 4 times higher than previous generations. According to Pew Research, they are the first in modern era to have higher levels of student loan debt, poverty and unemployment, and lower levels of wealth and personal income than any other generation at the same stage in life. And, according to the Huffington Post, millennials are facing the scariest financial future of any generation since the Great Depression. What I'm saying is, young people kind of need this type of outlet right now. People love their particular brand of depression-themed humor because it's relatable, and it allows us to laugh at ourselves and laugh at our bleak futures. Other YouTubers talk about suicide and depression too, but any mainstream YouTuber treats the issue delicately. It's something to be whispered about. It's something to cry about. But Ian, Max, and Joji are loud and unapologetic, and people can relate to this. That's why these 3 in particular have had such a big impact on current meme culture, henceforth on current humor. All those hashtag relatable Instagram videos about being beautiful and rich and having to juggle all the different men and or women who want you, surprisingly enough, that's not very relatable. This is the real hashtag relatable.
If you're feeling suicidal, you've come to the right place. Because I want to fucking kill myself as well.
Of course, it should be noted that just because somebody jokes about these topics does not mean that they take the issue lightly or that they're bad people. You have to take these issues seriously in order to satirize them or use them for shock value.
I'm getting raped! I'm being raped! Raped by a girl. Rape is rape. It means you don't want it.
What's the difference, faggot?
I don't have homosexuals in my family.
Did not say that.
Yes, he fucking did.
Jesus Christ.
He's like, I hate the I don't want to say, I don't mind saying homosexual. I'm going to say, he said poofta, that's what he called me. I feel really disgusting saying that because it sounds like really homophobic, that word.
AntiVlogging is a term I am 98% sure was coined by Joji Miller. I mean, I couldn't find any other instances of anyone else using it, and it was his initial idea behind the character of Filthy Frank. So, what is anti-vlogging? Well, there's already something known as anti-film, which in simple terms means film without a story or characters. Filthy Frank has characters, and it has a story. Vlogging is someone either documenting their life or ranting into a camera. You could easily argue that vlogs still follow a basic narrative structure. So it's not just the YouTube version of anti-film, because as we've established, YouTube is different than film. What these concepts do have in common are subversion of expectations. So let's compare to regular YouTube. I've chosen 4 popular vloggers at complete random: Gigi Gorgeous, Jake Paul, Joey Graceffa, and Liza Koshy. These 4 are very mainstream, very accessible, and very promoted by YouTube itself. So let's take a look at their approach to vlogging and the aesthetic they utilize in their videos. These videos are all high def, they make use of flashy editing, they have cringy jokes, they all use the same stock music, they're very bright and colorful. The people at the center of them are always very conscious of their physical appearance. They usually take place in an expensive house or an expensive destination, or like in the case with Liza Koshy's dollar store video, she acts as though her audience has never been to a dollar store before.
God, I love this place. It's like a giant Chinese factory. I mean, everything's made there. You don't have to travel to China, just go to the dollar store.
Filthy Frank, on the other hand, presents himself as, well, filthy. He also uses basic text, an intentionally shitty green screen, he lives in a dumpy apartment, and a lot of his videos are kinda washed out. Jake Paul is very fake in his videos. Either he is playing a character for the camera, or he is simply a very fake person in real life. So, who is the character of Jake Paul? He's wealthy, conventionally attractive, not very intelligent, obnoxious, douchey. Liza Koshy, again, clearly a character. She's wacky, obnoxious, she attempts to be relatable. When Liza acts embarrassing in public, it's to the effect of, look how hip and relatable I am. When Joji does it, it's framed more as, look at what a dumbass I am, look at what a prick I am. It's self-deprecating rather than self-congratulatory.
Taste the rainbow! Taste the rainbow!
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna get away from you.
Oh gosh. Oh, the thing's shifting.
Wait! Fuck me!
The fact that you were gonna put that in my mouth?
It's humanly impossible to get the huge clump of hair down your throat. Your body rejects it so bad.
The chunks of Pop-Tart are not good.
Like the whole Did this your mother's recipe, Frank?
One night when I was 13, my mom's boyfriend said he was going to work, and he never came back.
And my life wasn't very difficult. Unlike a lot of other YouTubers, life was pretty easy.
In every one of these boxes, they have a shirt. So Evan's going first, he's pulling out the shirt.
Garbage.
Ah!
So we just got to St. Tropez and we're gonna go to Nikki Beach for lunch.
You ever seen a vlog of someone going through a car wash and eating the bits of spaghetti off the fucking machines?
Good, I'm trying to catch a growlithe for you right now. It's actually on you.
Oh my god. Pay for your own in-game purchases. You absolute leech. Yes, I love it.
We're shaking this up. Oh my god, no! God, get it fucking out! Shit! Oh!
The collection today is worth well in excess of $1 million.
There is not that many of these in circulation. I got plenty more where that came from, boys.
And this is the first thing you do?
Normally people do this later, but I'm gonna do it now.
Gently wiggle the wand as you coat your lashes so they don't clump together.
What juxtaposition?
So obviously these videos are pretty different, in terms of tone and just what they choose to show you. For example, in Joey Graceffa's Hawaii vlog, he focuses on the resort they're staying at, the scenery, and the luxury of the destination. In Max and Ian's Hawaii vlog, which is still a traditional vlog in many ways, they choose to focus on the feral chickens of the island. The same can be said for their scripted videos. I've already discussed the improvisational nature of these videos in terms of acting, but it's also present in the directing. I'm mainly focusing on Max's directing simply because the most footage of him doing it actually exists as opposed to the other two. He doesn't just point the camera at his friends and wait for them to do something funny. He allows them to bounce off each other, but it's also clear he knows what he wants. He has a vision, and maybe it's not written down, but it's in his head.
Wait, stay there. Luigi diagnoses it as if he's just upset that he can't fit it in his bag. Or
oh, that's smart.
Yeah, you say, don't. I have room in my bag, and then you fucking put it in yours.
I see.
But you also got to convince him that he'll open it, and then George, you finally go like, okay, maybe I'll give it one last shot, sort of thing. Maybe I'll open it. You open it, it's a mushroom, and Luigi's like, sort of understands that that's not what you wanted, but he's still optimistic about, hey, another mushroom.
He also incorporates whatever they can find on location.
Wait a minute, Mario. Is that a fire flower? Yeah. Then you crawl towards it and fucking suckle it.
Like this rusted out old trailer. Sprinkle some bananas around and you've got yourself Donkey Kong's place. He also tends to edit in natural occurrences that happen during filming. Or the way he keeps in breaks in character and laughing.
Yes, we are in Zone 5, Mario.
He incorporates it into the story in Edward Watermelon Hands, but in Supertrash Brothers it's just there. Or the fact that he leaves in this in-joke, which is based on a fact the audience isn't privy to.
Sounds like something that was already recorded 5 fucking months ago.
If you were to look at something like Smosh, those videos clearly have their own rules and their own logic. It's absurdist comedy, but it's clear they're trying to present you with a specific universe where these actions make sense. It can be unpredictable, like in the food battle videos, but the characters know this, and Ian and Anthony always remain in character. They also aren't aware that they are on camera. It's a very traditional type of thing. With the Cancer Crew videos, they're very self-aware. There are still clear identifiable characters with clear identifiable character traits, but the blurred line of sketch and vlog can create an almost surrealist tone. Videos like the Cake Trilogy seem to be direct responses to viral challenges like the Tin Can Challenge or the What's in My Mouth Challenge. In Human Cake, they also deconstruct the popular idea of YouTube collaborations. Lele Pons and her buddies are kind of the rebirth of YouTube sketch comedy. It was dead for a long time, but these guys are massively popular. So let's compare Supertrash Brothers with Lele's video Super Mario Run, seeing as they're both Mario parodies. Right off the bat, you should notice some immediate aesthetic differences.
Mario! Get up, let's go. What? I have 4 lives, bro. Just don't touch these bitches.
Mario! I fucking see him.
Come on, Donkey Chong. Give us all you have, little man.
But these videos are similar. They use similar costumes, they're both shot in improvised locations, and use game music as scoring. But whereas Max's use of music sells you more easily on the weed field and abandoned trailer as a lair in a jungle, Lele's use of music doesn't really fit her suburban setting or the bland nature of her actors. Even though Lele's video is more professional looking and planned out, that doesn't make it better. It uses very static shots, everything's very centered, nothing really visually interesting happens with the camera. And her portrayal of Mario and Luigi is incredibly weak. In Supertrash Brothers, the characters are clear from the first 5 seconds. Mario is depressed, and Luigi is a well-meaning idiot with his head in the clouds. This Mario and Luigi just seem to be dude bros. But that's probably because Lele's videos only have 2 character types, crazy Latinas and dude bros. Let's also compare the way each video parodies video game conventions. In this case, the idea of extra lives.
Please! Say hello to Bob! Get up, let's go. What? I have 4 lives, bro.
Supertrash Brothers is clearly more subtle, whereas Super Mario Run spoon-feeds you the punchline. It also doesn't make much sense that Luigi would be unfamiliar with the concept, being a video game character, whereas the Cancer Crew's video plays more off the idea that Mario and Luigi are aware that they have extra lives. There's also stuff that isn't spelled out, like how Mario is depressed and suicidal and starts the Donkey Kong battle with 1 less life than Luigi. Lele's videos are built on the fact that they are lighthearted and goofy. It's what makes them so shareable on Facebook, and her friends follow in this. But take a Filthy Frank video such as A War is Coming, which is so silly and ridiculous on the face of it, yet it takes itself very seriously. The tone of the video is very heavy despite the absurdity of what you're actually looking at. And compare that even still to something like Linkara, which has equally goofy characters and ideas, but expects its audience to get emotionally invested in the storyline. I am not even a big fan of Feminist Readings. I avoided them in film school despite the fact that they're very easy, but Lele Pons and Company's videos are actually sexist, and I do not say that often. Despite the fact that Lele Pons, Anana Sarkis, and other creators are women, they present unbelievably unrealistic portrayals of women. Lele and her peers regularly exploit and objectify themselves in their friends' reviews. Their videos present us with a world where women reward harassing behavior with sex, strip teases, flirting, or just grabbing their friend's big ass in the middle of the street. It's the definition of visual pleasure. Laura Mulvey would have an aneurysm watching these videos. Comparatively, let's look at the character Maxine, aka Max in a Dress, and how she is presented on screen, and the way characters treat her and speak to her.
Yeah, you got a cute little pussy. Tight cunt.
Clearly, I don't believe that more than 5 women should be in the same place at once, but other than that, yeah, of course I believe in feminism, baby.
She is similarly sexualized and objectified by the camera, though not for the expressed purpose of servicing the male audience members. Of course, the comments say otherwise. She, just like Lele Pons, is also consistently lusted after by the male characters in these sketches. And, just like in Pons' videos, the male character's debauchery is always rewarded. However, whereas a woman in Pons' video will start grinding on a guy in response to being slapped on the ass, Maxine is regularly the victim of manipulation, abuse, assault, and rape. The gritty realist aesthetic of the handheld camera helped to illustrate the idea. Maxine gives us a more realistic idea of a woman navigating a world in which men are really as scummy as Lele Pons' characterization of them. I don't think this is a direct response specifically to Lele, but more to a more general trend she just happens to be a part of. Similar themes are explored in the Pink Season song She's So Nice. Max is obviously the greatest director of our time. Okay, but seriously, Max, Ian, and Joji were at the forefront of a countercultural movement on YouTube. And, well, Papa Franku may be dead. Their impact and influence will be with this website for a long time. So, yes, these videos are art. And I hope that not only their fans realize this, but I hope they realize it too. Joji recently retired his character for several reasons, including health problems, which makes total sense to me. I really do wish him well with his music career and anything else he decides to do, because I truly believe he's a smart, creative, and influential person. I just hope he can look back on his body of work despite everything and be proud of it. Because him, Ian, and Max truly created something special, and something that could have only happened at a specific time and from a specific group of people. And, of course, we have to give credit to How To Basic and Chad. Fuck, How To Basic could probably be a whole essay on his own. This group started a new wave of content on YouTube, and I am so glad I got to witness it. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, leave some fucking comment down there. I know you're itching to type that Rick and Morty meme. If you want to see more video essays like this, I have a lot more in the works, so subscribe to my channel, and just thank you so much for watching, because I worked really hard on this video, so